Hello and welcome to Tipsy VP episode 12 June 2020, a weekly show where we share tips and tricks on how to improve your social media. Tipsy VP is brought to you by Virtual Palace Marketing, rehumanizing your marketing experience. My name is Sean.
And I'm JK.
This week's weekly Tipsy, how to work with TikTok influencers. TikTok has been all the rave these past few months, thanks to a lot of us being locked down at home. This new social site is quite a different animal. It's completely different from all the other social media platforms that we are used to. Most people who are doing well on the platform aren't associated with brands. I would say TikTok is very different because we don't know how to use it. Like, you know how we say many years ago, like maybe 5-6 years ago, social media is a new thing, that brands don't know how to use social media because social media is not like an advertisement board, all these kind of things. We have reached a point where the old social media, there is a traditional social media now. Social media is becoming a traditional thing, right? So traditional social media like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter is used in one kind of way, which a new age social media like TikTok is not used. So if we were to apply this traditional social media method of branding or marketing onto the new TikTok way of doing it, chances are we won't succeed.
We look down.
we look down, we look old, and they'll be like, those viewers will be like, hey, wait, this content does not fit into TikTok. It doesn't belong here.
True.
So, for the longest time, brands have been finding it difficult to perform well because they don't know what to do. There is no formula for it. It's too new, right? That's because TikTok is a user-first platform instead of other social media platforms now which are brand focused or creator focused. Perhaps one day the company will start putting attention to brands, but if Facebook and Instagram's past experiences are any indicator, TikTok may think twice before adopting a brand focused approach. For now, the best way to be noticed on TikTok as a brand is via influencers, especially the good ones. Before you go ahead and find yourselves a set of influencers, you may want to check these pointers out first. There are some significant differences between your everyday Facebook and Instagram influencers and your TikTok ones. So based on these things that we have, you can better select and better identify who are the good influencers for your brand on TikTok. You want to take the first one?
Yeah, sure. So the first one, find TikTok first influencer. Like we mentioned, TikTok is quite different from our other past social platforms. In a way, it is what Vine could have become if it succeeded. Focus around short mainstream music, lip singing, dancing, and highly viral tricks. Traditional social content can't work as well. In order to increase the chances of your content performing well, it is advisable to get influencers who are TikTok focused. People who moved from Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook tend to bring their style over, which in many cases do not work here. While you may have experience with well-known YouTubers, they may not fully understand the mechanics of TikTok as much as native. Yeah, true. It's literally like bringing a politician into the dance world. they're all talks, but they're just like
No. I think it's a brilliant way of explaining it to everyone. A politician does not know how to dance. A dancer doesn't know how to play politics. So TikTok is a dance world. Yeah. So you cannot bring a politician into the dance world.
Yeah, correct.
So if you're finding influencers, sometimes you may have as a brand have experience very successfully working with certain influencers who are maybe YouTube natives or Facebook natives or Instagram natives. We would advise against it. Maybe go out and explore a TikTok one. TikTok influencer, TikTok native one. There may be a risk, a hit and miss, like in a sense that they may not work as well as you think, which we will discuss later. But chances of them being able to perform well on TikTok is better than one who is already from YouTube. Because we as humans tend to do what we know, right? It's a bit harder to learn new stuff or learn new ways of doing it. So we do what we know. So if a person who's very good at YouTube, maybe he has like maybe a few million followers, they would tend to go into TikTok thinking that they can do the same thing, use the same formula and do the same thing. But TikTok is very different. It doesn't work the same way.
The platform is just very different.
Yeah. You can tell when someone does not fit on TikTok.
You can just go there and talk.
Yeah.
This is not talk. It's not TikTok.
It's TikTok. Yeah.
All
The
right.
second one is the fact that TikTok is very, very volatile. So we put two varies there because it is very volatile. They say some unknown person can take up millions of views, can rake up millions of views in their first post, which means that you go in there, you've never posted anything before, you post the first one, and you can get 1 million views, like 1 or 2 weeks after that. This is impossible on other platforms unless your content is so epic. It is also true for established users getting almost no views on their subsequent posts. So this is the volatility, right? This level of volatility leads to extreme hits and miss. Like someone who is on TikTok for the past 1 or 2 years, right? And they create maybe like hundreds and hundreds of content. There will be some content that can get 0 posts, and the next one will get a million. One content will get 0 views, another one will get 1 million views. That is the extreme that they can get. So there are possibilities that also content will take longer to trend, perhaps a couple of weeks. You know how when we run ads for Facebook and do content for Facebook, after 2 days, when they don't get the engagement, clients will call us and ask, why are we not getting engagement? 2 days, that's all it takes.
Fast.
But TikTok is different. Sometimes things will take time to snowball, will get better over time. It takes up to weeks to do it. So be patient with your influencer and their content. Don't rush them. Don't push them into all the KPIs and ROIs so quickly. There is no perfect science to performing well on TikTok yet because everything moves too quickly here. Like few weeks later, they change the style. This is trending, then they have to change their style. So just because we don't consume it or we don't like it personally, does not mean everybody won't like it.
Yep.
You are on TikTok, you need to be very adventurous. You need to accept the extreme hits and miss, whether it works or whether it doesn't work.
Like a very volatile stock.
Yes, it's very volatile stock. And sometimes you don't have to ask why, whether it makes sense or not. It just
happens.
It just happens. It works the way it does. It works in their own physics. And we may not understand it because we come from a more traditional social media platform style. And that's just how it is. And the best plan is to consistently create content on a regular basis. So the more spaghettis you throw onto the wall, the higher chances some will stick. Yeah.
That's a very good analogy.
Yeah.
Right, the third one. Give them creative freedom. We hire influencers for a reason. Their expertise on the platform. So the last thing we want to do as a brand is to control how the creatives look like. Let your influencers do things their way and see the metrics increase. You shouldn't keep giving them ideas extracted from other social media platforms either. Like we mentioned before, what works on YouTube may not work here. Start by telling them what you want and what to avoid, and let them do their magic. Yeah, you just can't. It's the same concept like the American Idol Ken Lee guy.
Yeah.
You're trying to teach him to do this thing. But he got famous because of his horrible singing. That's just how it works.
Yes.
So yeah.
Then just if they're famous for something, let them do what they do. That's why we hire influencers.
Yeah.
If we were to keep changing, if we were to keep hiring new influencers and then teaching them what to do, the problem is not with the influencers. There is one consistency. What you want from them is the consistency. The execution is wrong. So give them creative freedom. There's one reason why they are influencers on TikTok, because they know what they're doing. But of course, as brands, there are certain things that we can and cannot do. For example, if we are more sensitive towards certain topics, tell them to avoid it altogether. If they are sensitive towards certain ways things should be said, tell them to avoid that. Or if you want to push them towards this kind of style, that kind of style, give them guidelines. But for everything else, let them use their creative freedom.
As the generic objective as well.
Yes, don't be a controller. Just let it be. The fourth one, rethink your brand approach. Traditional social media platforms are pretty straightforward by now. We can either provide education, information, tips and tricks, and promotional content. We have enough past data to prove what works and what doesn't work, and what kind of brands have to do this, what kind of brands have to do that. We've seen enough now over the few years to know how we want to structure our content to fit the funnel. TikTok works a little differently. There are dancers, singers, magicians, and athletes. Each type have their own communities and create content quite differently. Just because your brand does not do dancing does not mean that you cannot have a dancer influencer. So this is the most important thing. Any kinds of brands can hire a dancer, singer, magician, or athlete influencer. The difference here is that you need to tailor your brand approach, rethink your brand approach to fit how TikTok works, not apply your brand approach onto TikTok and expect people to work with you, to follow. It is unconventional approach for many brands. We understand that especially bigger brands and older brands who are not too adventurous when it comes to brand changes, and especially when you have a lot of stakeholders in mind, it's very difficult for you to be adventurous with these things. You should be prepared to think outside the box as well. So if you're a brand who's not up for these kind of adventurous ways of thinking, I don't think you should get on TikTok yet.
Because there's no logic to explain to your stakeholders.
Yes, there's no logic to explain to stakeholders, which JK will explain in point number 5.
Yep.
That if you're not getting, if your stakeholders request certain kind of ROIs and you're not giving it to them on a short run, then being in TikTok is because TikTok is a long game.
So now, explain on number 5, don't expect to sell so soon. There's a saying that every social media platform is amazing until marketeers come and destroy them. Brands will go where the eyeballs are, and we are only interested in selling. And that ultimately turns crowds away. Much like what's happening with Facebook these days. TikTok is a phenomenon because brands have not figured out how to monetize on scale yet. And if the company is smart, they will want to hold back for as long as possible. But that doesn't mean brands cannot use TikTok. We just can't expect to monetize every step of the way. So if you want to be on TikTok, you need to be prepared to play the long game.
So long game here refers to, let's say, branding, brand awareness, brand recognition, not just in terms of who you are and how you're recognized, but what you stand for. If let's say you're a company who has a strong USP in the sense that you care for the community, you care for the environment, so that's what you should stand for. Use TikTok to bring out that brand awareness and brand recognition to the public, especially to the younger crowd. And the younger crowd may not have spending power at this point. But so which means that you need to play long game in the sense that in the next 5 years, they may start buying from you.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, they will remember you. You will, leave a good taste in their hearts. And from next time, whenever you want to buy something, the next time, then it's easier for you to sell to them. It's kind of like what Nike and Adidas are doing. They don't really need to market their new products very much because their brand is so strong that they can come up with whatever product and people will buy.
Correct. People will still think back because it's already tight already.
Yes.
It's rude.
Yep.
And especially now the new gen, right? They're not the logical type.
Yes. Well,
emotional.
They do have their logic, but their logic is different from how our logics are. They are more purpose driven. We are more transaction driven. We wanna when we make a buying decision process between 3 or 4 things. One of the few key things that we use to make decision is how much does it cost, right? What is the quality of it? These kind of things.
Yeah.
How young people make decision is, does this brand believe in the same thing I do? And if it does, then the chances of me buying from this brand is a lot higher. So you see that's the difference there. It's about belief and it's about community help, community development, purpose driven rather than transaction driven. How much does it cost?
Logically or not.
Yeah, so if you're a brand who only has the appetite to hold on social media for 1 to 3 months or 4, 5 months, 6 months, and then you want to have like strong ROI and KPI back, TikTok may not be for you. It is a platform where people play the long game. It takes years for them to realize something. So you may want to set that expectation straight with your stakeholders first before investing in a TikTok. Because if you are such short term, right, you're just wasting your money going to TikTok.
Stakeholder will like, where's my return?
Exactly. 3 months down the road, they were asking this question and you have no answer for it because you are going to TikTok because everybody's on TikTok, and then you're not getting the ROI, and which makes your stakeholders unhappy, and then everybody's unhappy, then you get sacked, and then you go work for another company after that.
Speaking of TikTok, like a relationship.
Yes. It's a relationship.
It's logic, and you can't ROI relationship.
You can't ROI relationship in the short run. Yeah. In the long run, yes, you can. But yeah, and you can't put it down on paper as well. It's not. You can't do a cost benefit analysis on this kind of relationship.
Oh my god, cost benefit analysis. Oh dear.
Right, so that's all for this week's Weekly Tipsy. This week's Weekly Tipsy is how to work with TikTok influencers. Number 1, find TikTok first influencers, as in influencers who are native on TikTok, compared to the ones that come from elsewhere, because they don't bring the style from elsewhere. TikTok is very, very volatile. One post can get 1 million views. The next one can get almost 0 views. That is just the way it works. Number 3, give your influencers creative freedom. You control them. You can't get the best out of their content. Sometimes we don't understand it, but that's how it works. Number 4, rethink your brand approach. TikTok has a different ballgame. If we are very rigid with how our brand should be perceived, then we need to sit down and discuss this with our stakeholders. And number 5, don't expect to sell so soon. TikTok is still very new. They're not focused on brands and creators and monetizing yet. They are focused on giving their users the best experience. So if you are here on a short run and expect to make money in the next 3 months, chances are you may not be able to get it.
But if you just want to have fun.
If you just want to have fun, yes, then that's a good place. But of course, as a brand, sometimes whatever money we put in, we may not be able, like, you have to measure that, right? And if you're on a short leash in terms of budgeting, then it's very difficult.
Well, there's something you can measure: intangible value.
Okay. that topic is for another podcast. Right, so that's all for Tipsy Baby Podcast this week. Tipsy Baby Podcast is a part of Social Media Weekly and it's available on Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. Our full videos are available on YouTube, and we post bits and clips on Instagram and Facebook. This is Tipsy VP episode 12 June 2020. My name is Sean.
And I'm JK.
Au revoir.
Sayonara.